Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Agnes Genova. This is Smart Credit for Young Adults. We're here again to do another episode 2. In today's episode, our goal is to really understand what credit is and why is it so important, and to become familiar with credit report, to learn how to establish one and to build one and to build your credit history. Also to learn the common tricks that makes up an essential fine report. Okay? We're also going to talk about consumer protection laws as well. The law authorizes that adapts to the rules and regulations to protect the public from deceptive practices we're going to talk about. We're also going to try to touch base on stuff that you go on and get a lease, a sale, all these practices, loan, any consumer goods and services in collection, how it affects the consumer debt. We're going to touch base on that as well. Now, the authority broadly covers pretty much marketing practices that include things like advertising. It also includes contract and receipts. It covers also offers, sales and promotion, packaging standard, pricing, refunds, and the promise for services. So now let's dive into the subject. So what is credit? Well, credit is money that we borrow to pay for things. Usually it's referred to as a loan. So that's what credit is all about. Credit check, we check your credit history to determine whether an individual is credit worthy to pay this debt back. Consumer cost associated with loan, it has a lot to do with the long run understanding of interest rates, fees, potential lenders and creditors. And we also have what we call in the lending industry for credit cards called the 3 C's of credit. So let's take a look at the first C of credit, which is character. Character. Does this borrower, does this person appear to be physically responsible to pay back a debt? What is the likelihood of this person to pay a debt is what the character is going to touch base on. In other words, that would be good credit history, paying your debt on time, your bills on time. Set good goals, financial goals, and personal references. Now, the second C of lending will be capacity. Remember that. Capacity. Does this borrower has the ability to pay the loan back? Does this borrower has the ability to pay a debt? Is the applicant employed? These are the things they look at. In order for you to be able to pay a debt back, you have to have a job. How about that? Are there any resources of income, extra income somewhere? In other words, asset. What expenses does this person or borrower has in terms of cash flow and debt and expenses as well they look at. The next C, which is the final one, is called capital. Capital. Does this borrower or applicant has a savings account or investment account or real estate? What do they have as a collateral to put against this debt? These are the factors that has to do with capital. So for a bank to give a loan to someone, they want to make sure, do they have something that shows that if they're not able to pay this debt, we can put this as a lien against the loan. All right? As a security. How about that? So what I advise everyone to try to check your credit. Check your credit report to make sure that your record and your information is showing as how you pay your debt. Whether you're past due, make sure you check stuff like that. Make sure you check for errors as well. So keep those practices in your arsenal as far as being a borrower is concerned. Check your credit report, as I mentioned, for identity theft. People can use your information to go extend loan. You want to make sure that person is not using your information. So make sure you keep those thoughts in mind when you check your credit bureaus. Remember, we also mentioned that there are 3 credit bureau agencies that you must check. We have the TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Remember those 3. Again, TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. Where do you get your credit report? Annualcreditreport.com. Again, that's www.annualcreditreport.com. It's your free report that is government mandate report site where you can pull your own credit. And if you need to get a score from that site, you will need to pay some extra fees. So remember that as well. You can also go to myfico.com as well to get your credit score, okay? Now remember though, the information on your credit report plays a big factor or role in order for credit to be extended to you. The higher your credit score, the better your credit history. How about that? So how does your credit score looks and how high it is affects your life in so many ways? And some of the ways could be when you go to rent an apartment, or you want to get a credit card, you want to obtain insurance for your car, you want to purchase anything, furniture, heavy equipment, your credit score plays a big role and it affects your life. So stay in touch with your credit report at annualcreditreport.com so you can see where you stand in terms of your credit score. Now, another factor we have to talk about is calculating your credit score. How is your credit score calculated? Well, there are a couple ways that your credit is divided into sections or percentage. So for example, 35% of your credit report has to do with punctuality, how well you pay your debt on time. Okay, so paying your debt on time counts for 35% of your credit report. 30% of your credit report counts for how much you owe in your credit report. Okay, in other words, your balance is what's your total debt that was extended to you. All of those factors covers 30% of your credit report. 15% of your credit report covers the length of your credit history. Just remember that. 15% is the length of the credit history. 10% is what type of credit that you have on your credit report. For example, do you have installment loan? Do you have revolving credit? Do you have real estate? All of that factor into the 10% of your credit report. The other 10% has to do with recent information on your credit report. In other words, are there any recent debt that you just established? And how long has it been maintained? Did you try to improve that credit score? Or did you try to repair? Whatever all this information is, covers for 10% of your credit report. So I would say for your financial system, you want to make sure you remember to improve your credit, you must pay your bills on time. It's one of the main factors, okay? So if you have a debt, try to pay it on time for most credit card debt. Also create what we call a plan to keep up or track your payment. So when you make your payment, I usually just do a Excel spreadsheet and I list all my debts and all my credit cards, and I pay them every month, and I keep track of how I pay them. So you might want to start to do that. Open a credit card responsibly. In other words, don't just open a credit card unless you know it's going to serve you purpose, why you want to open it, and be responsible as well. Avoid credit cards that has very high interest rates. That is very important. So make sure when you apply for credit, you want to make sure that the interest rate is manageable. Once again, pay your bills on time goes a long way, and try to correct any errors in your report as soon as possible, because negative stuff on your credit report over time brings your score down, okay? And you don't want that to happen. So remember these things. And of course, if you have stuff on your credit report, for example, the stuff that are going to stay in your report for a long time are things like lien. Bankruptcy takes 10 years on your credit report. Some of them take 7 years in your report. Any criminal record also takes a long time to be in your report. So try to make sure you watch for the dates, how long they've been in your report. Choosing a credit card, what options do you need? If I was going to open a credit card, I need to keep some stuff in mind. Very, very important. These are the questions you want to make sure you know. What is the annual percentage fees? In other words, the APR. What is it? What is the rate on the credit card? How is the interest computed? It's very important. Is there a grace period before you pay the bill? In other words, before your due date. And if there is a grace period, is there an interest that you have to pay? How long is that? Is there a billing cycle? People don't pay attention to this, but it's very important that you know whether the credit card has a 21-day billing cycle or 25 days, meaning when the closing date will be on the credit card and when your due date will be. So it's very, very important that you know those dates. So if you have to make a payment, you can send your payment before the billing date, okay? What is your credit limit is another concern. Is there a finance charge? What is it and how much it is? How much is the late fee? Wow, that's a big one, by the way. I have noticed some of the credit cards that I've seen now these days, their late fees are as high as $39, $37. You miss a payment one day, it's going to cost you $39. That's a lot of money. So just make sure you understand that, because if you have 3 or 4 credit cards and you miss the due date, you're talking about a couple $37 here, $39 there, $36 there, $35 there. That can add up pretty quickly to about $100, $150 on late fees alone. So late fees are becoming very, very big now these days with these banks. They're no small potatoes, I'm telling you. $39, that's $40 right there. If your minimum payment is $39, $35, you pay a late fee of $40. That's $70 out of your pocket right there, and I mean, it makes no sense at all. So watch for those late fees. Very important that the fees should be less, lower, enough, manageable if possible, or just simply pay your bills on time. Then you don't have to worry about that. Some credit card tips and tricks is to remember that credit card can have hidden fees, by the way, just so you know. A lot of people don't know that credit card has hidden fees. So you want to make sure you keep in mind what these rising interest rates are. Some of these interest rates are what we call a teaser rate. They tease you. They want you to come in and they charge you 0% interest rate, but once you're in, you miss a payment, it bumps up to 27%. So low introductory rates are very, very crucial to watch. They may just tease you for 0, but it could be bigger later on if you miss a payment. Penalty interest rates for late fee, as I mentioned to you. Expensive cash advance. If you were to take money out, how much does it cost for you to take that quick money that you need? Floating due date. What is that? Your due date is due on the 2nd of the month. Next month, your due date is on the 5th. Another month, the due date is on the 29th of the month. That's what we call a floating due date. So the due dates are never the same date. That's very, very, very dangerous to be carrying a credit card in your purse that has a different due date each month. You want to get a fixed due date so that way you know every time of this day this credit card is due. One of the things I've done with all my credit cards, I make all of them kind of due on the 5th of the month. Meaning by the end of the month, if I get paid, I got the first to pay or the second, but I got up to the 3rd, the 4th to make all my payment of my credit card, because now I know for sure the money is in the bank, okay? So try to adapt something like that. Have all your due date on the 5th of the month, so that way you cannot miss the due date. As opposed to having it at the end of the month, that could be easy to forget. Or maybe your check payment, your check was late to be deposited. You don't want to run into those kind of problems, okay? Now, just remember, Smart Credit for Young Adults, we are here to help. We can help you. If you're having trouble managing your budget and you're having you need plan to pay down some debts, or you're trying to get some folks that are calling you on your phone to collect debts, writing you letters, debt collectors are harassing you, please call us. We'll try to see what we can do to help you out. I'll be happy to counsel you, either first on the phone and on face-to-face as well, okay? If you're also in need of settling a debt, just let us know too. We'll try to help you. If you're stuck with some kind of an agreement that you have between some creditors out there and you don't know what to do, give us a call and see if there's anything I can do to help you. I want you to keep these thoughts in mind. If you want government benefits or you want to benefit from any kind of eligible programs out there that are being offered, give us a buzz, okay? If you're also a victim of identity theft as well, or someone is trying to scam you, so please call us. We will try to help you if you need any help. We are here to help you. Also, if you want to open a bank account and you don't know where to start, how to go about it, don't hesitate to give us a call, okay? Well, we want to thank you for watching the segment. Some of this source came from the New York Department of Consumer Affairs. They've been very helpful with some of the information. So once again, I'm your host, Agnes Genova. Thank you for watching.